Heyo and welcome in today. Today joined by me, Daniel, and we are doing something a little bit different. We're delving into a Blender to create something interesting. I had a little bit of fun. I used to use Blender back in the day, back about 3, 4, or more than 4 years ago at least. Probably like 7 or 8 years ago. I did use it back and forth though, played around with it every now and again. I seriously got into it when I was about 14 or 15, I think. Um, when I delved in deep and learned a little bit like how to use Blender, because I wanted to like, I guess, make a game or do some animation or something, or just create stuff, created something epic and cool and fun. And I try to delve deep in how to use Blender and how to do a lot of stuff like a Blender for Dummies book I picked up, and yeah, decided to use that and delved into that, and from there I got okay at using it and better slowly. And then I realized, I wasn't, I didn't spend a lot of time on it. I was drawing at the time as well. Um, but I realized, my passion for illustration, from there. Now, I don't mind a bit of 3D. 3D is pretty cool. Um, it's there and it's a tool. This kind of chat, this kind of video here today is just chatting to you guys pretty much about using 3D as an illustrator, as a creator, in your work to just help you make things better, even if you necessarily don't use 3D at all. It's there to help you create, and it's a helpful tool. So, you know, I use it as a tool here to try and just create something. I didn't have any kind of reference with me or anything. I just played around with the tools that are in Blender, and I don't know fully how to use them. I haven't used them in a long time, um, going on 7, 8 years or so, and I think I did like about 4 years. Did kind of 4 years ago did kind of play around a little bit, and every now and again, like 4 or 5 months, I'd go back to Blender, just play around a little bit. I might use it for something. Here I decided I wanted to create some sort of dragon kind of thing, so I just played around and created this. So I pretty much created this out of my head, no references and things like that, and then from there I took it into Photoshop because I decided I don't know how far or what I could do to kind of um get this any better, to make this, to shape this properly without kind of delving into how the tools work in Blender a bit more. So I decided to, in order to do this, because this is part of the 90-minute art challenge kind of thing, the 90-minute art challenge was to just create something in Blender within 90 minutes, kind of a thing. But I felt like, I got to that certain point of creating it and I was like, well, I don't know where to go from there. I know, possibly play around a little bit further. But I kind of, I guess, had enough of that 3D element of it. So I decided to take that that 3D element out and, take it and place it into Photoshop, so then I can go and paint it. What I really enjoy doing. But basically, from here, I already have all the tools and tricks and things I understand it fully, better than 3D. So from here, it's kind of, it's my field kind of a thing, I guess. It's, I'm used to this. I used to how to do this kind of thing, Photoshop, drawing, and creating. Blender, I have used in the past, and I have gone okay with it. I'm not, I haven't been the best or anything, but I did go okay back in the day. Um, Obviously, just relearning those tools, and also just 3D in general. I haven't dealt with, so it's kind of throwing me in the deep end of doing 3D work. Um, in a way, just delve in and do that 90-minute art challenge for it, and I think I kind of failed in the 3D aspect, but taking it into Photoshop does, help. I think it is quite useful for um using it and then taking it into a painted form. For me, I think that might be helpful in the future to use for some things. Um, I've done it. I think I've played around in the past where I kind of used um, uh, uh, some background elements or something from 3D, try to create that stuff, or I have in the past used to place characters and stuff, just vaguely to help me out. So I will be looking at using it a little bit more if I can, just to help me out to fix things up if I do in the future. However, with that said, it does take a little bit of time to add, you know, these tricks and tools to your repertoire. It does take a while. So adding 3D to your workflow, I guess, does take a little bit of time to get used to. Adding anything, whether traditional 2D, adding something like, for instance, foreshortening. It takes you a while to learn foreshortening to then add it to your tools and things that you've got. Same for using like the stamp tool or the cut and paste tool or something. The transform tool. You can learn all those tools, but it might take you a little while to learn them and get used to them, to then be able to freely use them. So it does take a little bit of time for me, going out and learning 3D a little bit more. That's going to take a little bit longer just to get used to it, get used to some of the tools. So I'll probably do a few of these like 90-minute art challenges to get used to a little bit more of the tools of creating it. I probably have some fails like I have here. I think I don't think I completely failed. It's an interesting concept for a dragon that I created in the end. Um, but the 3D aspect of things, I think it's added something to it. It's like a interesting look to this dragon. So it's got a hit and miss there. It's got something there. I wouldn't say this is the best concept in the world, but I think it is a helpful tool that I'll be using in the future, like I just said before. But yeah, using this 3D tool has been pretty cool. So I recommend using Blender if you're going to pick up a 3D software. It's kind of easy to use. It's free. If you just want to kind of figure things out, you don't know where you're headed. You're looking at, using a 3D tool, but you don't like have serious money or anything like that to invest in it. Blender's a great option. It's free. It's out there. That's you know, Blender is a good tool to use, and invest a little bit of time, because it does help to, you know, create stuff, to use a 3D software, even if you're a 2D artist, because it does help, even to create lighting situations or something, you know, creating balls and creating different lighting situations and things like that, you know, that can work. So it's a helpful tool to use and create stuff, and it's there just to enhance our art. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Keep creating, keep drawing, and we'll see you in the next video.